Assalamu alaikum. This is Mongra Singh, welcoming you all to the English news from Btv-Chattogram. Let's begin with the headlines. The Chief Advisor Professor Mohammed Yunus seeks Commonwealth support for holding upcoming general polls. Hearing date fixed to December 4 in the case of Raater mass killing during July uprising. Election Commission and Postal Department talked away on postal voting for the first time. A newly launched e-family court to reduce sufferings of victims and to help curb corruption, says law advisor. Israeli air strikes kills 5, including top Hezbollah leader on southern suburb of Beirut in Lebanon. And Bangladesh beat Brunei by 8-0 goals in under 17 AFC Asian Cup qualifiers in China. Viewers, those were the headlines. Now moving on to the details. The Chief Advisor Professor Mohammed Yunus sought the Commonwealth's full support for holding the upcoming general election scheduled for the first half of February. The Chief Advisor said this during a meeting with Commonwealth Secretary General Shirley Ayorkar Botchway at the State Gastel Jamuna in the capital today. The Chief Advisor thanked the Secretary General for her strong interest in the Bangladesh's forthcoming election process. He reaffirmed the interim government's commitment to holding a free, fair, credible and festive election. His Secretary General assured the Chief Advisor of the Commonwealth's full support for Bangladesh's election and the post-election transition. She said there are vast resources within the Commonwealth 56 countries, including members of the G7 and G20, that Bangladesh could draw on to strengthen one another. The Secretary General added that she had held meetings with a wide range of stakeholders, including the Chief Justice, the Law Advisor, Foreign Affairs Advisor, and the Chief Election Commissioner, noting, "I'm very hopeful about the future of the country." She also confirmed that the Commonwealth is preparing to deploy several observer teams ahead of the elections. The two leaders also discussed youth empowerment, entrepreneurship, creating more social businesses, and advancing the 3-0 vision aimed at reducing unemployment, carbon emissions, and inequality. In the case of crimes against humanity over the killing of 28 people in Rampura, Dhaka, during the July mass uprising, the hearing for formal charge framing against 4 accused, including 2 army officers, Lieutenant Colonel Redwanul Islam and Major Muhammad Arafat bin Alam, has been scheduled for December 4. International Crimes Tribunal 1 fixed this date today after the hearing. During the hearing, the defense lawyer of the 2 army officers applied for them to be allowed to join future proceedings virtually from prison. The other 2 accused in this case are absconding. They are former police ADG Rashidur Rahman and former OC Mushir Rahman. The tribunal today ordered the appointment of the state-appointed lawyers to present these 2 fugitive accused. Earlier, in the morning, the 2 army officers were produced before the tribunal in a special prison van under tight security. Meanwhile, in the crimes against humanity case over the killing of including Martyr Shahriar Khan Anas and 5 others at the Chankarpur during the July mass uprising, The defense lawyers cross-examined the chief investigation officer for the second consecutive day. At the same time, Tribunal 2 fixed the next hearing for recording testimony on November 27 in the case over the murder of the first martyr of the July mass uprising Abu Said of Rangpur against 30 accused, including former Begum Rokeya University Vice-Chancellor Shariful Islam. In the morning, 10 arrested accused in the Abu Said murder case and the Chankarpur murder case were produced before the tribunal. A consultative meeting between the Election Commission and the Bangladesh Postal Department was held at the conference room of the election building in the capital today. The meeting focused on enabling expatriate Bangladeshi voters, personnel engaged in election duties, government employees working outside their registered constituencies, and voters under legal custody to cast their votes through postal ballots in the 30th National Parliamentary election using the postal voting system. The meeting was presided over by Chief Election Commissioner A.M.M. Nasiruddin and was attended by the commissioners of the Election Commission as well as senior officials of the Postal Department. Later, representative of the out-of-country voting OCV project briefed the Chief Election Commissioner, Election Commission members and postal officials on the voting procedures for expatriate voters and the related technical systems. Bangladesh Nationalist Party BNP chairperson and former Prime Minister Begum Khaleda Zia is receiving treatment under close medical supervision at the FK hospital after developing infections in both her heart and lungs. Professor Dr. F.M. Siddiqui, a member of the medical board constituted for the BNP chief, briefed reporters outside the hospital last night, confirming her condition and ongoing treatment. He said, for the past several months, she had been suffering frequent complications. This time, they admitted her in the hospital due to several issues appeared simultaneously. As she already had heart-related complications, including a permanent pacemaker and previous stenting procedures, she also suffered from a condition called mitral stenosis, he added. Professor Dr. F.M. Siddiqui said, because of the chest infection, her heart and lungs were affected at the same time, causing severe respiratory distress. She is under 24-hour intensive monitoring. After bringing her to the hospital, the urgent tests required were immediately carried out. Based on the preliminary reports, the medical board sat together and gave her antibiotics along with all necessary repeat and emergency treatment, he added. The 79-year-old Begum Khaleda Zia has long been suffering from arthritis, diabetes, kidney issues, lung complications, and various other ailments. Law advisor Dr. Asif Nazrul has said the victims can file cases free on charge on the newly launched e-Family Court. The initiative will reduce public sufferings and help curb corruption, he added. Asif Nazrul made the remarks today at the inauguration ceremony of the Family Court at the Dhaka Metropolitan Sessions Judge Court. As a pilot project, the e-Family Court has been launched in courts in Dhaka and Chattogram. Through this system, victims will be able to file cases online and the entire judicial process will be completed digitally. Environment Advisor Saida Rizwan Hassan and the Chief Advisor's Special Assistant on Post, Telecommunications and ICT Faiz Ahmed Tayyib were present on the occasion. While addressing the occasion, Rizwan Hassan said the Family Court will advance the country's move towards a paperless system. In this speech, Faiz Ahmed Tayyib said the digital initiative will enable law professionals to provide faster and more efficient services. The law advisor remarked that reforms do not only mean constitutional reforms. Many reforms have already been implemented across different sectors. He said the Law Ministry alone has carried out 21 reforms. The judicial reforms already undertaken will reduce the number of pending cases by 50% over the next 5 years, he asserted. Now, international news. The Israeli military said it killed Iran-backed Hezbollah's top military official in an airstrike on a certain suburb of Beirut on Sunday, despite a U.S.-brokered truce a year ago. Lebanese health ministry said the strike killed 5 people and wounded 28 more. It hit a multi-story building, sending debris crashing into cars on the main road below. The strike, the first of the outskirts of the Lebanese capital in months, targeted Hezbollah's acting chief of state, Ali Tabatabai. Hezbollah confirmed the death of Tabatabai in a statement, mourning him as a great jihadist commander who had worked to confront Israeli enemy until the last moment of his blessed life. Hezbollah official Mahmoud Khemati said Israeli strike crossed a red line as he stood near the bombed-out building in the Hart-Rik suburb, a Hezbollah stronghold. The United States imposed sanctions on Tabatabai in 2016, identifying him as a key Hezbollah leader and offering a reward of up to $5 million for information on him. In a short televised statement, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel would not allow Hezbollah to rebuild its forces and that he expected the Lebanese government to fulfill its obligation to disarm Hezbollah. Israeli forces killed 3 Palestinians in Gaza near the line demarcating areas of Israeli control on Monday, underlining the struggle to broaden a fragile ceasefire deal approved over 6 weeks ago to global acclaim. Palestinian medics said Monday's incidents involved an Israeli drone firing a missile at a group of people east of Khan Yunis, killing 2 and wounding another, a tank shell killing a person on the eastern side of Gaza City. Israeli military said it had fired after identifying what it called terrorists crossing the so-called yellow line and approaching its troops, opposing an immediate threat to them. Palestinian group Hamas and Israel signed a truce on November 9, halting 2 years of devastating warfare, but the agreement left the most intractable disputes for further talks, freezing the conflict without resolving it. Both sides have since accused each other of deadly breaches of existing commitments in the agreement of pushing back against later steps required by U.S. President Donald Trump's 20-point peace plan for Gaza. After talks on U.S.-backed peace plan, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said, giving Ukraine territory to Russia is the main problem. The U.S.-Ukraine held weekend talks in Geneva of Switzerland. U.S. President Donald Trump said, don't believe it until you see it, but something good just may be happening. But speaking in a video message to a Swedish conference, Zelensky said, Putin wants legal recognition to what he has stolen. And he later insisted border cannot be changed by force. European leaders criticized the 28-point peace plan when it emerged last week, saying it was too favorable to Russia. The U.S. said revisions and clarifications were made to the plan in Geneva, while Russia said it is yet to see any update. Ukraine's frontline soldiers have reacted to draft U.S. peace proposal with a mixture of defiance, anger, and resignation.